Welcome to part two of our Passports and Pitchside episode. My name is Rick Lamanna, coming to you from Toronto. We're thrilled to have with us a guest who has lived both worlds, Ismaïl Aissati. Born in the Netherlands to Moroccan parents, Ismaïl had a unique international career path. Started in the Dutch U21 team, winning back-to-back UEFA European Under-21 championships in 2006 and 2007, respectively, before making the pivotal decision to represent Morocco at the senior level in 2011. At the club level, he played for some of the biggest teams in Dutch football: PSV, Ajax, FC Twente, and Vitesse. Notably, he was one of the rare players to make the direct move from PSV to Ajax, crossing one of Dutch football's fiercest rivalries. He later took his talents to Turkey, playing for several top-flight clubs, and today he's helping shape the next generation of footballers as a coach in Ajax's youth academy. Ismaïl, welcome to Fragomen FC. We can't wait to hear about your football journey, your national team switch, and the role immigration has played in your career.
Yes, thank you very much for the introducing, Rick. Very happy to be here, to be invited to tell my story. I'm Ismaïl Aissati, as Rick told you. I played in some couple of very big clubs that I'm very proud of. Also in different countries, so also different national teams. So as the national team of Holland and Morocco. So and now starting as a coach in the academy of one of the biggest in Europe. That is, of course, Ajax, and I'm very happy about it, and learning a lot. So yes, thank you.
It's great to have you. And of course, our colleague from Amsterdam, Tuba. Why don't you introduce yourself to our viewers?
Thank you, Rick. Now, my name is Tuba, and I'm working as a senior associate within Fragomen Amsterdam, and I'm helping a lot of people, but also corporate clients from immigration perspective.
Thanks, everyone. So let's go ahead and get started. Ishmael, thank you so much for joining us today. So you had the unique experience of playing for the Netherlands at the youth level, winning back-to-back under 21s, before ultimately choosing to represent Morocco at the senior level. So what led to your decision, and how did both your Dutch and Moroccan football communities react?
It was a very tough decision because it's not a decision that you make in a couple of hours or a couple of days. In that time, I was, I think, 17. I played on the 21 national team of Holland, and in that time, my career went like this, as a rocket, as a booming. And in that time, also, I got the opportunity to play. For the national team, Holland, the A team, and the A team of Morocco. And in that time, I I didn't choose yet, so because I still was thinking, to make a decision because it's very important decision. Talking a lot with my family, what is the best decision for me? And for me, it was like, okay, I gonna follow my heart where my heart leads. Even I born in Holland, I have everything. What I have is because of the Netherlands, of the academies what I played here. But my heart is in Morocco. Also, if I go on holidays in the summer, there is I I cannot explain it in words because you have to feel it, and that's why I choose to play for the national team of Morocco. It was really with the heart, not with the mind. Like if you play with the national team of Holland, you can play the European champion, and you will play more the world champion because of the quality. But it was a really decision with my heart. So yes,
And it's interesting you say that because Morocco went on a very good run in Qatar.
yeah.
In fact, beat our Canadians. There's a lot of connection here. But no, incredible run in the last World Cup. And so I guess my question is, you know, you were part of an incredibly talented under 21 Dutch program. what was it like competing at such a high level at a young age? You mentioned you were 17 years old. And so how did that experience, shape the rest of your career?
Yeah, it was an amazing experience. I was the youngest player in the team, and we had yeah, very big players who played already, like Klaas-Jan Huntelaar. He was like top scorer in the
Playing at
year.
Milan.
Yeah, you had Nicky Hofs, Edson Braafheid, who played in Bayern Munich. So a lot of experienced players, and I think for me it was in that time, yeah, as a young player, they always told me, the old players, like, hey, you just focus on the football, enjoy it. You are young. Uh, because yeah, when you are especially in a tournament like that, you're always thinking the next day. Yeah, and you really didn't have the time to look back at it. And so in that time you don't have the connection, like, hey, you playing as a young rookie, such a tournament. Yeah, for me it was like just a normal, like I play on the street with my friends. So after a couple of years, then you're looking back, and then you're thinking like, wow, hey, it was really special, because the most young player at that tournament with such amazing players. Yeah, it was incredible.
Fantastic.
Of course, it sounds incredible, Ismail. And another thing that I really want to ask you is that you've played for some of the biggest clubs in the Netherlands, including the PSV and Ajax. You know, they are longtime bitter rivals, and moving between them, it's almost unheard of. You know, the exchange between those rival teams. What was that transition like, and how does this club loyalty play into a footballer's career, into your career? When contracts and transfers take you or them across borders, how was that like? Just changing between two of those, archie enemies.
Yeah. Yeah, of course, it was not an easy decision, but I think it's also not very strange to to move like from PSV to Ajax, or from Ajax to PSV. I think it's more like Ajax Feyenoord.
Hmm.
If you have to make that decision, it's really tough, because
Right.
this is the biggest rivals from each other. And of course, for me, it was also a very tough decision, because I grew up in PSV Eindhoven. I was there when I was 12. I was 9 years in the academy. But it was also for me like, I was always fascinated about Ajax, and especially about how they play the game, how they see the football. It was always like, you have to win, that's first, but you have to win also with good football. And for me, it was always like, if I was in PSV as a young kid, and we played against each other, against Ajax, I always looked at them. I was with my own team, but I was always looking at them, the closest, the confidence they had, yeah, everything. And especially I love football, and I love to see good football. For me, is good football more important than winning. It's very strange to hear that, but yeah, that's how I see football. And yeah, in that time in PSV, it was not going so good with me. I didn't play so much, and then I got an offer from Ajax, and the head coach was Marco van Basten, and he called me, and yeah,
I
how I
mean,
Yeah, you
can,
can
I
you
mean,
cannot say
I
no
mean,
to
what are you
that.
gonna?
how I can
Sorry, Marco, I don't know.
exactly. I was like, okay, Mister, I'm coming. Yes, when you need me, okay. No, it was yeah, that was yeah, for me it was easy decision, and of course I have everything to thank of PSV, because if I didn't have PSV, I was not the player or the person who I am right now. But yeah,
That's interesting. You hear that a lot when players get a phone call from someone like a Paolo Maldini or Marco van Basten. Just like, of course I'll come. Just tell me when and
yeah,
where, and I'll be there. That's very fascinating. Thank you. And Tugba, hearing Ishmael's journey, you see how sometimes nationality and dual heritage can play a role in a footballer's career, right? Mind and heart, and so the decisions, the very difficult decisions that have to be made. From an immigration law perspective, what challenges do athletes with multiple nationalities have when it comes to things like work permits and transfers, or even switching national teams?
I think the most important one is dual. I am dual national as well, and it's entering the country, a different country, with which passport. Is there a visa required? Also, for football players, it's important that there is a strategic decision from the club to say, look, now you will enter with this passport because for this passport you don't need a visa. Like for example, I when I enter Dubai with my Dutch passport, there is no visa required. But when I enter Dubai with my Turkish passport, it's visa required. So you need to make a strategic decision on your dual nationality. And the problem with dual nationality for footballers specifically is, I think, the decision of for which national club you will come out, if I can say it like that, because as Ismail also mentioned, it's a very tough decision to make, because on one end it's a country where you are born and raised and where you are your identity, and the other hand is your heritage. So it can disappoint your parents, it can disappoint your fans, it has multiple facts that you need to consider.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yes, definitely.
So, Ismail, growing up in the Netherlands with Moroccan heritage, you lived the reality of having a multicultural identity in football. Did that ever create any unique challenges for you, whether in football, culture, fan expectations, or even with nationality and immigration rules?
No, I think Holland is a country where a lot of multicultural people are. So I never had any feeling in football or just in normal life that I'm from different than imagine the Netherlands. No, you have you can live here freely. I just had when I moved to Russia. Imagine, yeah, that
Yeah.
was very
How
different.
was that? How was your time in Russia?
Yeah, it was very different. It's like Tuba said in that you needed a visa. So it was a club. They bought me, and I was thinking like, okay, they bought me. I'm going the next day, but it was not possible because I needed a visa. So I was
Of
waiting
course.
in Turkey for the visa for quite, I think, 4 or 5 days, and that for me was already strange because I didn't know that. So I was thinking like, so why I have to wait? I have a European passport. Okay. Different rules. Okay. So I went there and then my wife. Hey, okay, what will happen with my wife? Because I want to take my wife with me. Yeah. First, we have to take your business as a player, the work permission, because you have to wait also for the work permission. And when I had my work permission, and I think it took maybe 2 months, so I could invite my wife. So imagine, yeah, it's not, huh? I didn't know that.
Of
So yeah,
course.
Yeah, it's tough when families are separated, even if it's a couple of days or a couple of months, and
yes, exactly.
we often see it, happen where anyone who's coming into the U.S. we focus on getting the beneficiary their visa. We also focus on making sure that the dependents come in, but sometimes the way that it lines up, you get the beneficiary in before dependents. It's everyone has their own individual process. It's not like you
Yeah,
can just come as a family.
They have,
yes,
and all the documentation involved. So that's a little bit like Togba said, plan ahead, plan ahead. But of course, and Ismail, you've lived this from different perspectives. So you were telling us about your experience in Russia, your experience on the international teams. But now, as you've transitioned into coaching at Ajax, working now with young talents, many of whom come from different countries, these players not only have to adapt to a new team, but also a new city culture, sometimes even a new language. So right now you're seeing from another perspective this immigration standpoint. Do you think that young international players face visa or work permit issues when transferring to a club like Ajax? Have you seen situations where this bureaucracy or these delays or this family separation prevents a player from move or impacts their development in any way?
Uh, no, at Ajax I didn't had any of this, but we also in it's I think in general in Holland we
Hmm.
just take players from abroad when they are 16 because then they can sign a contract. And under the 16 we don't take a player from abroad, so imagine from Norway or America or any other country. The age have to be 16 because then they can sign a contract. And of course what you see from players from abroad, they're living with the family who they don't know. So of course, as a club, as a coach, also we have people who working for that at Ajax. Yeah, we are really taking care of them. That if we take a player, that they also feel home to learn the language, the culture of Holland. So I think in that process we are doing really good. And I think 10 years before, yeah, it was more difficult, I think, for a player abroad to come to Holland.
If I could just sort of ask a follow up question on that,
Yes.
you referenced so you were separated from your wife for a couple of months when you went to Russia. How did that impact? Did it impact your play? I mean, obviously your normal schedule. You don't come home to your wife. Like, did that play a role in your performance in the first few months when you were in Russia? Obviously, it's a different country, different climate, different league, and now your wife's not even with you. How did that feel?
Yeah, of course, it's difficult because just the small things. Imagine I wanted to look for an apartment or a house, but yeah, I also wanted my wife to be there because yeah, she also have to live there. So it was like, okay, you know what? I will stay in the hotel. At first, I want to have my wife here, and then I can look the apartment, the stuff, and because yeah, especially as a player, if you play, yeah, you have your daily things. You go to training, you come home, but okay, and what about your family? Because when you're going to training camps or you play games, she will stay at home. So for me as a player, it was very important that she will decide. I don't know, the apartment, the interior inside, because most of the things for players abroad who are going abroad, will be the most difficult. How will settle your family? Because if they are happy, you are happy, and I
And
think that is for most of the players.
And I'll just one more follow up if that's okay. Ajax is known for its academy. It's known world renowned academy, and the way it sort of treats its young players and develops them, and then either keeps them on or transfers them abroad. What was the difference between Ajax in particular, but also like the Dutch league versus what you saw in Russia? Obviously in terms of quality, right? There would be differences in terms of quality, but were there any differences between the actual club structure? Or the way in which the club thought about itself, and what its purpose was in terms of development and that sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I think first of all, the structure, because if I can compare Holland with Russia or Turkey, where I played, in Holland we always look first to the people who are born in Holland, the players. We give them chances, and imagine, yeah, I want to take Jack as a player, to bring him to Holland. I want to see if Jack is really, really better than the player we have in Holland. Then I will take Jack. Otherwise, no, I will go with the player who I have in Holland to give him a chance. And I think in Russia and in Turkey is quite different.
Yep. Mm.
We take a lot of foreigners and maybe two or three players from our country, because of course they have more money to invest, and it's more easy. But yeah, for me that is the biggest yeah, what I can compare with the Netherlands.
So at the end of every episode, what we do is we ask our guests who they think. This is the purpose of the podcast, right? This is why we have it. This is a replica, of course, but this is the purpose of this podcast series as we lead up to 2026 in Mexico and the United States and Canada. So we'd like to ask you who you think will be raising this trophy next summer.
The
Who you
Netherlands.
think and who you want. Go ahead.
I think the Netherlands, but who I want, Morocco.
Okay. And Tuğba, I think you,
Yeah.
yeah. Well, you can repeat your answer if you like to, Tuğba.
I think I missed last time to say, like, of course, I would love to see Turkey to win, but I have no hope, to be honest. But I think it's will be France.
Yeah, I think they're pretty strong.
Good pick.
I think so. We've had different guests with different answers, and I think the consensus is you have your France, your Argentina, Spain. I think those three are typically
Yeah.
the strongest, easiest ones to predict. But who knows? In a tournament with 48 teams, first time ever, a lot of different things can happen. 3 countries hosting. Let's see what happens.
So I just want to say thank you, Ismaïl and Tuğba, for joining the show with us. It's been really a pleasure to have both of you on here. I just want to let everyone know, be sure to subscribe, follow, and hashtag Fragomen FC for all of the latest updates and episodes as we gear up for the World Cup in 2026. It's right around the corner. Until next time, keep your visas valid and your goals on target. Thank you, everyone.
Thank
Thank
very
you.
much.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye.